Hey there, creative entrepreneurs and photographers. Welcome to our Pro Series. This is where we give your biz a glow up one step at a time. Industry professionals are spilling their secrets and breaking down their coveted secrets of success. Without further ado, let's jump in. I'm your host, Rebecca Van. Let's go. Hi, friends. Today we're chatting with Natasha of Natasha Coyle Photography out of Charleston, South Carolina, all about organic social media growth on TikTok and Instagram. Her accounts boomed over the last year as she implemented Reels and TikTok short form videos into her marketing strategy, and she's about to spill the beans all about how you can too. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am Rebecca Van. I'm so glad that you're back. We're here chatting all things entrepreneurship today, but we also talk about our Southern living at home and motherhood on this channel. Today, we are all focused all about business. We have Natasha Coyle here from Charleston, South Carolina, and she's going to teach us all about organic growth with social media. So whether you're on Instagram or TikTok and you're trying to grow a following, but you really have no idea where to start, I connected with Natasha a few months ago, and we have been talking so much lately about growing your audience organically, not paid. We're talking about real ways to gain real followers, and this woman is a gold mine, y'all. So I cannot wait. Natasha, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So, as Rebecca said, I am a Charleston wedding photographer. I started my business as a 34-year-old stay-at-home mom. And I started, like most people do, in photography with families, and quickly realized that I didn't love taking pictures of families, which I still do for my wedding couples if they have a baby or need maternity sessions or anything like that. But I will not do newborn anymore because I had no business doing newborn to begin with. But then I decided I wanted to do couples. So once we moved back to Charleston, I started shifting my business. I changed the name of my business from Komodo Rose Photography to my name. And I dove straight into weddings and was very blessed for people that gave me a chance and a shot. And from there, my business has grown exponentially. So, and I base all of that growth on social media and marketing myself through social media.
Your story is insane to me in the best possible way, because when we were on, I think it was Marco Polo or Voxer, I'm not sure, one of them, in a group message, we were talking about how you are 34, right? Or you started your business.
37.
You're 37 now.
Yeah.
You started your business at 34 years old, y'all. She completely swapped careers in her mid 30s. So Natasha, this is very relevant. You made a connection in our Boxer one time about why your social media growth is where it is because of your mid 30s switch. So tell me about why you started, why you changed, how all of that happened, to give them a frame of reference.
Absolutely. So like I said, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was really looking for a creative outlet, even though I don't consider myself super creative. I went to school for biology, and my husband's an engineer, and we were living in Greenville, South Carolina in the upstate. And I just really wanted to do something that I knew would work with our family lifestyle. My husband was working 9 to 5 and traveling a lot with his business. And I wanted to do something that gave me the freedom to work, but also stay home with our son. So I took him to Biscuit Head in Greenville and said, I think I want to be a photographer. And he's like, well, let's go get a camera. So we went into Best Buy on Black Friday in 2016. I bought a $350 camera, and I started my business with that camera. And I went and got my business license and launched my business in February 2017. And I took on my first wedding that summer for a friend. I did it for $500. I still owe them some better pictures because I had no idea what I was doing. And then a year later, we had the opportunity to move back to Charleston. So I started advertising through social media that I wanted to be a wedding photographer. And I had so many amazing people take a chance on me, allow me to take pictures of their wedding day. My first wedding was actually published in Charleston Weddings magazine, which is insane. So a lot of people really just trusting me and putting their faith in that I could do it allowed me to really grow that side of my business. And then also because I was marketing myself through social media. So I've always used stories and always allowed people to kind of get to know me through stories, because starting my business at 34 years old, I felt like I kind of had the odds stacked against me. I needed to connect with 25-year-olds, and it's really hard to do at our age, So, I mean, I have a completely different lifestyle. I'm married. I have a 7-year-old. How am I going to connect with a 25-year-old? So I figured, you know what, I'm going to start showing more of myself through my stories and through my Instagram feed and let people connect with me through there, fall in love with me through there. And then that's how I built my business. So I get so many repeat bridesmaids. All of my brides and grooms like sing my praises to everybody on social media because they love me so much, and that has built my business. I don't advertise any paid advertisements. I did do the knot for a year. It wasn't the best experience. Sorry, the knot. But I only did it for a year, and honestly, I will be honest, I did it because I wanted to go to the knot party, and I know that. And I know that if you want to go to the knot party, you kind of need to advertise with them. So
yeah,
I paid a lot of money to attend this knot party. So I don't do paid advertisements. Everything that I do is through social media and word of mouth growth. And that's just kind of how I built my business. Crazy.
This is insane, because I feel like your mindset starting your business is so different than the majority of new photographers that are starting out, no matter what their age is. Well, I mean, it does matter their age. If they're 17, 29, whatever they are, I think a lot of people have a more relaxed approach to starting a business. And I feel like you said it's all or nothing. Like, I have to make this work.
Yeah.
I have to make this work. I don't have another choice. No. And you just kicked yourself in the butt until you made it happen. And that is what I just love about you. Your first wedding was published. I mean, that's incredible. And I think that you have so many golden nuggets that our viewers will benefit from. Yeah. So let's start with Instagram, and then we're going to go into TikTok and your massive TikTok following. As a photographer,
I love TikTok.
I love both of them, and but I'm not as experienced as you are, and you've got all the bells going off in my head. What can I do? Like, I want to be on this train. So like, talk to me like I'm dumb and I know nothing about it.
Absolutely.
Might be true.
No, you're not. So with Instagram now, like at my age, I went all the way through college without having social media. Social media wasn't a thing. Facebook was, I want to say that it was starting to be developed in Boston, maybe my senior year of college, but it was only available to that area. It was only available to New England. And then after that, Facebook was only available. I mean, obviously MySpace, I think, was around, but then Facebook was only available to people who had college email addresses when it first started. It was a college-based social media. So I went all the way up until maybe 25, 26 without social media. So that was never something that I felt like was going to be something that was going to make such an impact on my life. But once I was in business, I realized, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to pay for marketing. I don't want to pay for ads. Like, how can I market myself? Social media is a free way to market yourself. Instagram makes it a little tougher because of the algorithm to be seen. They kind of bury your stuff. Even the people who follow you don't see your stuff. Sometimes, when you check out your stories, you see maybe 300 or 400 people have seen your stories. Yeah. And then you're like, well, but I have 5,000 people following me. Like, why are only a couple hundred people seeing my stories? Well, because Instagram doesn't allow people to see stuff sometimes. They have to be interacting. They have to be engaging with you for them to be able to see your stuff. So it's a little frustrating because you're putting out all this stuff and it feels like you're hitting your head against the wall and you're like, I'm not growing. I'm not reaching anybody. Nobody cares. Why am I spending so much of my time as a small business owner in something that's not going to bring me any business? But for me, brides and grooms find me through Instagram. They find me through either other people posting about me, through vendors tagging me in pictures that I've sent to them, or through just doing some searches through hashtags and finding me that way. And then they come over and they fall in love with who I am as a person. I take great pictures, don't get me wrong, but I am not the best in Charleston. I know that. So I'm like, what do I have to offer that other people in Charleston don't? And it's just to be myself. So I just show up authentically and let people get to know me. And from there, I'm attracting my ideal clients. So that's super important for Instagram, I feel like, is have that social media kind of connection with people. And then that helps you grow.
What are you posting on stories that you feel like has been the most impactful for gaining a relationship with your followers?
So for stories, what I like to do is I just pull up my phone and talk to it like I'm talking to a friend. So I like to treat it, I don't want to come into my stories and it feel very rehearsed. So if I make a mistake in stories, I'm just going to post it anyways. It doesn't matter. And you can show up hair and makeup done. You can show up not like hair on top of your head. It doesn't matter as long as you're showing up authentic and showing behind the scenes of what your life is like and showing people that, like we have this beautiful grid of images, but this isn't real life. This is, beautiful wedding days that people spend $50,000 on. This is not what we see all day. And honestly, being a photographer, that's a very small portion of what we do. So letting people see a little bit of all the other stuff that we do and letting them peer into your life and get to know like your family a little bit. I don't put Michael and Jackson in it a ton, but I do allow them to come in it sometimes. I'm like, okay, you guys can come into my stories a little. But I try and keep it, it is my business and I want people to get to know them, but I don't want people prying too much. So like definitely having some boundaries there, but letting them come in so people get to know them a little bit as well. It's been helpful because people show up to engagement sessions and they see Michael and they're like, oh my God, I feel like I know you. So it just definitely feels more like people actually know us and are friends with us through social media versus when Michael and I got married, we found our photographer on Yelp, and that's what you did in 2010. And I didn't know who he was when he walked in because it was a photography group, and it felt like a stranger walking in. And I don't want that for people when I walk in on their wedding day. I want them to feel like they know me.
I have to like insert and agree. We also got married in 2010. Mm-hmm. We did not know our photographer. And I will forever, you just didn't do that. We barely knew him. And they were, it just, thank God for social media today, because you don't know the people. And so it was awkward. And I also didn't know what his work was going to end up looking like. It was just a whole thing. Like,
unknown, yeah.
Like you just went online and hoped that they had a website back then. Yeah. And now you can literally
portfolios. And I didn't want to meet with everybody. You meet with a couple of people and they show you stuff back then. Like you'd go into studios and have pictures, and it was so overwhelming. And you have to look through actual albums. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but it feels like it's ancient times.
I know. It's just a different world today. We have different practices and it's so different, but that's so funny that you said that, because now not only can you get a better fit, you can get higher quality work that's a better fit for you because we have the social media. So if you're watching and you're not using social media, just remember you could be losing so many of your perfect clients because you're just not putting your face on the stories. Even though, Natasha and I, we're not shy, but even my shy friends that put themselves out there and show their true colors, you really can attract the perfect couple, no matter what their budget is. But anyway, Go ahead, Natasha.
No, absolutely. And just showing up. I mean, obviously like showing up in your story, but showing up in your feed as well. Having, a friend take your headshots doing a trade, or have your husband take your headshots, take your own headshots, just show up on your feed. I see a lot of people have asked me to like review their Instagrams and stuff. And I'm like, I don't see a picture of you. Like, I want to know what you look like. And I want to know a little bit about you. Like, you take beautiful pictures, but Instagram is about beautiful pictures. Yes. That doesn't stand out anymore. That's all it's about. So making sure to show up authentically and letting people really get to know you, I think is super important on Instagram. However, I know saying all that and you're like, I'm still not growing, and that's where Reels is going to come in, because you don't. Like, I know, like I at the beginning of the year, I was done. I'm like, okay, I'm only posting 2 to 3 times a week on Instagram. And I had a fully booked 2020 calendar with 21 weddings, and then COVID happened. And so I had to go back to the drawing board. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? It was like, I wasn't growing on Instagram. 2020 was going down the drain in terms of, making money and all of that stuff. And weddings were moving to later this year or next year, or just postponing indefinitely. All of these things were happening. So trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do? Nobody cares about social media right now. There's so much more going on in the world. Nobody cares about my pretty pictures on social media. So I had to go back to the drawing board on how I was going to market myself.
That is so, I think that we've all can relate to that at some point or another, unless we're not photographers. But how do you use your feed, Natasha? And like, how often do you post, and how do you find, what would be your best advice for someone who's trying to start posting, but really just doesn't know what to post on their feed, not stories, but like on their little squares? What would you say to them?
So One, I post now because I'm posting to Reels. I'm posting multiple times a day. But prior, I was only posting about 2 to 3 times a week. And I was trying to be very intentional about my posting. So it was either going to be a picture of myself with something encouraging. I like to say I encourage other photographers. Something encouraging, letting people know like we are going through the same kind of things. Like if you need to talk to somebody, I'm here to chat. DM me if you have any questions about something, and just kind of sharing stories that people could connect with. And then I was also sharing about my couples. So if I had an engagement session, sharing a preview for them. If I had a wedding day, sharing the preview or a picture from the wedding day as well. So that's kind of where I was at the beginning of the year. When I first started, I was definitely sharing way more because I wanted people to get to know me as a wedding photographer. You know, the more you drill it into someone's head that you are something, no matter if you are that person or not yet, they will start associating you. So I wanted people to associate Natasha with wedding photography. So I was, even if I wasn't taking pictures of weddings yet, I was taking pictures of families, but only taking pictures of mom and dad and sharing them on my Instagram feed to let people know I am interested in couples. I don't want to shoot families. I will, but I'm going to get mom and dad alone, and then I'm going to treat it like an engagement session, and I'm going to post that on my Instagram feed, and that's all you're going to see. And then my other pictures on Facebook. What's that?
You're really showing what you want to sell. You were super
yeah. You want to attract your ideal client, you have to show your ideal client what you're looking for.
So if you're wanting to shoot kids, we need to be posting a lot of kids. Even if you're shooting maternity and couples, you need to show your kids.
Show kids.
And if you want to do couples, figure out a way.
Find
some. Like, just go find somebody and
anybody.
Post them. And you don't have to post what you're actually shooting if you don't feel like it's a good fit for you long term. Like Natasha might have shot some newborn sessions, but clearly that's not a good fit for her. It takes there are certain people.
It's hard.
Girls, it is so hard, and people don't know how hard that is. And it is hard, but like she's not going to share what she did because she doesn't want to keep doing it. So if you're doing that, make sure you make that little switch to just show what you want to sell.
Perception is the only reality. So let people, I gotta write that down. That's the only reality. When you, for me, it was like, I need to pay my bills. So yeah, I'm going to take on family sessions. So I was taking on family sessions as I was making the shift. However, I was taking that and strategically using that to market myself as a wedding photographer. Obviously I did styled shoots. I think I did 6 last year. I had already pre-COVID decided I wasn't doing any this year because I had 21 weddings. I had tons of pictures from last year. And at the time, at the beginning of the year, I just didn't feel like it was going to benefit me. But I do think style shoots do have a benefit if you're looking to really break into weddings, or if you're looking to build your portfolio a certain way.
I completely agree. Do you have any other thoughts on Instagram? Even if it's explaining why we need to build this relationship with our followers. I know that when I wake up on an average day, my first thought is not, let me go nurture my followers. Like what makes you wake up and trigger like, okay, let me be loyal, let me show up, let me be faithful to my people. Even if I don't feel like it and my hair is a hot mess, I'm showing up on stories. What is your trigger there?
For me, these are the people that have allowed me to chase my dream. So nurturing that relationship to me is really important because I wouldn't be where I am without this audience. So I show up for them, even if I don't feel like it. Obviously I do use things like Planoly. I plan out some of my posts. Right now I'm not. Right now most of the things that I am posting is in time. I don't suggest doing that all the time, but right now, because I'm posting video content, I'm doing it in time. I can't schedule that out because Planoly doesn't have the option yet. Right. So Planoly, if you're listening, please give us a scheduling tool for Reels. You can use, I do add things into drafts, so then I can just push it. But I do think showing up and nurturing that relationship is going to allow people to really build that connection with you. And once people are connected to you, they feel loyal to you. And when they feel loyal to you, they're going to share about you. They're going to buy from you. They're going to book you. And so that's a big part of my business. So I have to show up for them because it's the only way I market myself. That allow me to do what I do. So, it's like any relationship. If you don't nurture it, you know, you have to nurture every single relationship you have. And obviously like your social media relationship is a bunch of people, but all you have to do is show up once for yourself, you know, in Instagram stories or on your feed.
Yeah.
And it nurtures a relationship with a ton of people.
If someone's starting out, how often would you recommend them posting on feed or stories? And then we'll get into reels right after that.
Okay, so on feed, I definitely think at least 5 times a week when you're first starting out.
Okay.
And on stories, daily. That's what I was doing for a good year and a half, daily showing up. And honestly, I remember I was at the knot party to go back to the knot. And I had 2 different people show up that I had only talked to on Instagram. And I had this one girl show up and she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, I just want to know, what are you doing? Like, how are you doing this? Like, you were brand new here. You just moved here a year ago, which I'm obviously from Charleston, but my ideal clients are not people I grew up with. 1, they're married and have kids. And 2, they honestly can't afford what I am doing, you know? So I definitely feel like when she asked me that, I'm like, oh, like I didn't realize that people were already talking about this, like saying like, what are you doing? Because they weren't showing up in stories. And I told her, I'm like, you have to show your face. You have to let people get to know you. If you don't, she's like, I just don't understand. I'm not booking. Like, I'm like, you have to show up in stories.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing it right now. And that's the key. That's the key piece that you're missing, I feel like. And what she did, I saw her start booking more and more and more and more.
That is incredible. And there are days when I'll think I could share this on stories. I could, but should I take the time, go get my phone and do this?
Yeah.
And I always wanted to know the answer of like, why?
Do it.
Yeah, just do it. If you're wondering,
do it, Nike.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I love that you just like reiterated that to me, because there's so many things. Even as photographers throughout the day, I love documenting, but there's so many things in my head that I think, oh, nobody will be interested. Somebody's interested.
Somebody.
People
Absolutely.
have been so interested in the fact that I had coffee this morning because I shared yesterday I woke up, I had no coffee.
Right?
And the messages that I got, they're like, me too. That's the worst. Yay for coffee today. Like,
exactly.
it's
And
so
even
funny.
right now, I feel like because we can't connect with people outside of the home really because of COVID, not on the scale that we were prior to this year, you are looking for connection through social media, and people love saying to someone, oh my gosh, like I connected with that. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
But if they find a little nugget of something that will start a conversation, people love to say, oh my gosh, me too.
They really do. They really do. And those are like my favorite messages because then I feel less alone from whatever I shared. So that's so funny. Okay, so I am dying for you to tell everyone all about Reels. Like how you have exploded in growth, and you have almost doubled your Instagram following in a few weeks, like a month. Has it even been a month since Reels came out?
3 weeks on Tuesday.
3 weeks on Tuesday. This woman right here has gained over 3,000 Instagram followers from reposting or creating new Reels. So some of them you pulled from TikTok and some of them she's making in real time. So tell us all the things, please.
Okay, so if you don't know what Reels is a 15-second video short form content that you can create within the Instagram app. It's very similar to TikTok. If you don't know what TikTok is, they literally ripped off TikTok, which is totally fine because we don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. But for me, like I said at the beginning of the year, Instagram was so frustrating. I wasn't growing. I was doing all the things. I was using hashtags. I was connecting with people. I was answering DMs. I was answering every comment. And I just hit a wall of just not gaining followers. And honestly, I'd gain 5 and lose 10. It just was so frustrating because I'm like, well, I'm doing all the things that people have literally laid out as a roadmap for me and it's not working. So I joined TikTok last December. My niece is 15 and she's on it. And my sister's 8 years older than me. So I'm like, well, like I'll go watch and make sure that she's behaving. And so I got on and I started watching it and I would scroll for hours at night. My husband and I laughing, just looking at all these crazy videos of people. And I would start searching and I'm like, There's photographers on the app. It was street photography, fashion photography, hype house photography, but no portrait photographers, no wedding photographers. There was a huge like void in the market on TikTok. And I'm like, oh, like what if I went on to TikTok and started making videos about photography and adding tips and posing tips and behind the scenes videos? So I started it in February. Within 3 weeks, I had 10,000 followers. Within 6 months, I have almost 50,000 followers, which you don't see that kind of growth anywhere.
Anywhere.
Nowhere. And so at 37 years old, at the time I was 36, joining TikTok, I remember I was trying to talk to a couple of different people in the industry about it, and they were just like, no, that's, it's for kids. It's just dancing videos. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to tell anybody about it. I'm just going to keep it to myself.
Do it.
And I don't want it, it wasn't like a secret, but at the same time, like, I don't want people to judge it because I'm like, I am older and I'm not dancing, but at the same time, like, I knew that people didn't really know what the app was, and it just didn't make sense to a lot of people, but it made sense to me. And I'm like, I'm seeing growth, and this is growth I have never seen. And I've been working hard on Instagram for 4 years almost. And so I started posting on TikTok, and then I would start to nurture that relationship with people and bring them over to Instagram. So I did see some growth on Instagram because of TikTok. And then a couple weeks ago, they said they're going to be banning TikTok, which was like, oh, great. Like, I just built this, massive 50,000 person following, having people stop me in Disney World who follow me from Kansas, which is crazy. And now it's going to go away. What am I going to do now? So Instagram decided to release Reels, which is exactly like TikTok. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm going to definitely get in here as soon as it releases. I know what I'm doing. And I'm going to start pumping out content. And I'm going to pump out 3 to 4 videos a day and see what happens. And some of those videos, like I said, I have pulled from TikTok, which you can't pull all of them because it can only be 15 seconds. Yeah. On TikTok, you can have up to a minute. So I had to go and search through and find all my 15-second videos. And then I started also creating videos within Reels. And I started seeing that some of them weren't doing as great. And I'm like, I want to change some things. And I started doing some storytelling ones. I did a proposal one, and it went viral, and it got 175,000 views, and I gained 1,000 followers in 2 days, which was insane. So
that's crazy.
It's so weird. So I was like, oh, okay, Reels is I will be honest, I was not excited about Reels. I'm like, I love TikTok, leave it alone. Just don't ban it. Let's just have TikTok be TikTok and Instagram be Instagram. But I will say I am starting to see the benefit in Reels and in growing. And honestly, the difference between Instagram Reels, Instagram Stories, and IGTV and regular feed, with Instagram Reels, it doesn't go away. Instagram Stories, after 24 hours, it goes away. Your Instagram regular feed, after about a day, people aren't going to see it anymore unless they go over to your feed and look for it. So when you have Instagram Reels and people are scrolling, and 2 weeks later, because people are engaging with your video, it pops up, there's infinite amount of possibilities for it to be seen and for you to reach people. So it's literally changing the game on Instagram and growing on Instagram, which is insane.
It really is. And when Natasha and I messaged her the other day, and I just had a random question about, I don't remember, Reels or something. And she told me about her growth, which this was planned long before I had messaged you. I just didn't realize how big of an impact this has made for you. Mm-hmm. And when she told me within 3 weeks she's grown over 3,000 people, I was like, Becca, you have literally no reason not to be posting Reels. You have no reason not to, and every reason to.
Yeah. You have nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Most people aren't growing anyways on Instagram, so why not try it?
Why not try it? Do it. And it has been, my first one got so many comments, and actually, let me see how many times it's been viewed. Yeah, because I posted my first one a couple of days ago, and it's got actually, I think it was yesterday, 600 views, 300 views from the one this morning, almost 400.
But think about stories, Rebecca. So how many views does your stories get?
Oh, not that many.
Yeah, so it's it's getting more views in your stories, and it's going to be there forever versus your stories. Yeah. So the views will continue to grow. because people will continue to go over and check it out.
Yep.
And also you have potential for going viral after the fact.
Yeah.
So on TikTok, I had a video that was up for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it was doing okay. But then all of a sudden something happened and people started sharing it and saving it or, commenting on it, and it went viral. And now it's at almost 1 million views, which is crazy.
Crazy.
It's
That's
insane.
nuts.
Like, who are you people?
I know, this is crazy. So when you started on TikTok, you just really saw an opportunity as an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And you said, even though the rest of the world wouldn't agree, at least the rest of our creative entrepreneur circle.
People in our community were like, eh.
We're like, no, I absolutely love that you took a risk here, because that is what entrepreneurship is. That's what it is about. This is how we succeed. And I think that's a beautiful testament to when something makes sense for me, but not Susie Q over here. I need to keep moving forward, and you don't need the reassurance that everyone else is doing something to do it yourself. And that's what I love about Natasha.
Well, see, and for me, it was definitely a challenge, because everything else within my business, I had been given like a roadmap. I am a KJ, AJ taught person. And I feel like in those communities, which I love them both so much, but we all kind of do the same exact things, because we all went and took their education and decided that we're going to do the exact same things because they saw success from it, and they're telling us that we're going to succeed from it, and they do work. But when you're all doing it at the same time, it's hard to set yourself apart. And so when I went into TikTok and I saw that there wasn't anybody doing it, it forced me to say, okay, well, I want to do it, but there's not somebody doing it. How am I going to do it? I have to figure it out myself. Right. And so I had to look at other people outside of our industry and see how they were doing videos and create my own niche through that process. So that's kind of been how I started to carve out a little space for myself over on TikTok.
So I struggle with coming up with ideas. Mm-hmm. What do you do when you can't come up with anything to post? Like, how do you get out of that? Like,
I look at other people outside the industry. So, and I actually learned this, I want to say when I was doing a rebrand, that you don't necessarily want to look at what other photographers have used in their branding. So you want to look at like Lily Polis or Kate Spade, whoever with their branding, to kind of get a fresh look on how you want to do something. So I said, okay, like I'm not going to look at other photographers, and I'm going to just look at, people who just regular influencers, or I saw doctors on there and how they were promoting their own businesses through there. And I'm like, okay, like what are they doing and how are they doing it? And why is it working? And why do they have 1 million people following them? And took that and kind of equated it back to how I could do it with my own photography business.
What a brilliant way to look at this. I absolutely love that. Yeah. And now you have a resource for our viewers, don't you? About coming up with ideas, which is my biggest hindrance in creating this content to stay relevant in the world. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I created 7 ideas for content creation within Reels for any business owner. So you don't have to just be a photographer, because I do think that any business can use Reels right now and grow from it. And every small business should be using Reels right now and growing from it. Every single person. If you want to grow, if you don't want to grow, you don't have to use it. But if you do want to grow, I think that you should definitely be using it. Honestly, Reels is being prioritized over everything else on Instagram because it's brand new to Instagram. And so they're definitely pushing that way more. So you're just going to grow quicker from using it. There's no reason not to. So I've created this download so that people have 7 ideas to go ahead and, if you're not doing it, kickstart your Reels.
I love that. It's super important to do this now before Instagram stops pushing Reels.
They're going to put the algorithm on it at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, at some point, this is not going to be as booming as it is right now. So you need to get your download ASAP. Go ahead and implement it. Go ahead and start posting content and getting things out there. You can find this amazing resource at the link in the description box. So make sure you look down there. Natasha, it has been such a pleasure to have you here with us. We have learned so many golden nuggets from you. Is there anything else, any other tips or tricks that you'd like to share with us before we wrap up?
Absolutely. So when you're doing reels or Instagram stories, the only thing, just be yourself. Don't look at what anybody else is doing. Show up authentically, be yourself. And honestly, I don't think that you're going to regret it. You're going to attract your ideal client. You're going to attract your ideal audience. Just be yourself.
You guys see why I love her. She's incredible. I love her. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Natasha, thank you for sharing all of your wisdom.
Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun.
Absolutely. This really was super fun. If you guys want to continue learning from Natasha and continue following her, make sure that you find her down in the description box. Natasha, how can everyone connect with you? Obviously, TikTok and Instagram.
Yes. So I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I am on YouTube as well. So you can go like any of those, subscribe. I am there. If you have any questions, I don't mind answering them.
Yeah, so she has a YouTube channel, guys, and it's super awesome. I have tuned in, and I feel like she's one of the few people that are like me on YouTube. I think our channels are similar, so I'm super excited to be doing this today, and I'm hoping maybe we could do a collab in the future on something really fun. That would be awesome.
That would be so much fun.
It would be.
Yeah, we could do a vlog style when you come to Charleston.
Oh my gosh, we're doing it. It's done. Yes, absolutely.
On the calendar.
Yes, y'all be watching in January. I believe we're heading to Charleston for our mastermind retreat. So we're going to be in person together. We'll make sure we vlog that. That'll be amazing. And stay tuned, like, and subscribe. That tells YouTube that this is helpful content for other photographers who are looking for similar help. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.